Show, man, art funding, trust investments. It's a little. The topic is a little advanced. I know typically the audience, mostly we beginners, but I do get repetitive, and I know repetition, builds understanding and knowledge, but I do want, I guess spice it up a little bit for those of you who, kind of, pick up what I'm putting down, and you're like, okay, well, what if I do have a trust? Maybe, not everybody comes to the foundation and gets involved in trustee training. There's other mentors out there. I didn't learn trust from me. I learned it from a mentor. I definitely had to fly across the country and mentor like in person because it wasn't happening otherwise. But I did that, and not everybody has the opportunity to do that. I understand that. So there has a reason and cause. For the foundation. So with that being said, let me jump to this show. So, a lot of people, first and foremost, let me say this. I shouldn't have to say this, but it's been several times. Maybe it's because we did the show together. I brought him on the show for 2 weeks. Maybe it's because, like, him and my dad grew up in the same exact neighborhood, like, for real. And my dad raised me. So, I speak, my vernacular is very similar to my father's, but then there's some East Coast in there, and there's some California. People be like, all right, everybody's always like, where am I from? Especially when they hear my accent or lack thereof. But I do got some southern drawl in in my vernacular, in my speak, and I just need to make an announcement. I Yusuf L. I mean, I appreciate it's humbling that people confuse me with Yusuf L. It's very humbling. That's one of the highest compliments you give me. But like, I got people making donations, and that you're sending your money, and then I'm trying to book conversation with you, and through the email, I'm realizing you think I'm not Yusuf L. Yusuf L is my big brother, in the spirit realm. My dad, like, he reminds me of my uncle I never had. Family, I'm serious. It's like every time I deal with brothers, I'm dealing with my uncle. I mean, like, your dad's brother. There's something very familiar, like family about Yusuf. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting confused for Yusuf. That's very, I'm flattered. But, I'm getting emails, people are making conversations, I've even, I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus, for real. I'm not Yusuf L. I appreciate it. I really respect it, but I'm not Yusuf L. My name is So L. I'm a whole different brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking. But I do rock on high frequency, and maybe I haven't been, responsible in communicating that I'm, my name is So L. And Yusuf L is, my big brother, Yusuf L. uncle. He's my elder. I defer to him. And I will never be like, yeah, I'm Yusuf, because you don't ask me a question. I'm like, because I don't, he'd be on that, you on them bonds and the security party and the GSA. Hey, I stay in my lane. Hey, I know what it is. Go involve this. You know me. So with that being said, and some of y'all might be like, you don't even sound like Yusuf. And, respect, man, respect. Respect your observation, your intelligence. But there's some people, it's not about intelligence, some people, I guess and I've been told, they were like, yeah, your voice you kind of sound like Yusuf sometimes. So, I'm be feeling the spirit. I don't know, man. It's the spirit of Yusuf L or whatever. But yeah, I'm So L. I'm not Yusuf. I'm flattered. And, I've been all over the world, and everywhere I've been, I've seen people who look like me in the lowest economic position. And I was looking, quote, alleged Negro, and I, special treatment, and, you're different, not like the rest. And I wasn't cool with that type of lifestyle, like I'm straight. So, I want to do business with my people. The foundation, business. On the private side is trust. And that's what I deal with. I deal with trust, man. Stand up to trust, man. your trust estate, man. Okay, you got an LLC, let's do it. You got a company, you want some business credit, so on and so forth. I got you. But that's what I'm on. That's what I do. That's why I do this. So hopefully, hopefully that helps. So the art of funding of trust, man. Look, I wanna make this distinction. What is the concept of funding a private because this is the thing. I'm captured trying to trust. Like, yo, what isn't that a minimum contract? If you have a trust, right, and you're funded, especially your initial corpus, the first asset that went into the trust is public, with reserve notes or corporate interest in a sort of corporation, LLC, shares, whatever, membership interest, a birth certificate, the corporate of the trust. You understand minimum contacts, understand form versus substance. Now, those high-level attorneys and, internal service agents are taught to look at the substance transaction versus form. I don't know if it's the topic of the show or what, but I'm really having issues over here. This is the second time I lost connection. I appreciate the fam. I appreciate you texting me, fam, and let me know that it was mad choppy. Text me now and let me know if it's better, if you could. Okay, cool. Yeah, I lost. All right, cool. All right, appreciate it, y'all. Yeah, I'm back in the house. Yeah, so I don't know if it's the topic of the show or what's going on, but this is like the second time I lost my connection. Luckily, I have my backups, but I'm on the backup right now. So let me make sure. Okay, so we're good. Yeah. Okay, so look, I'm talking about the logic of your initial funding, like the initial corpus that is exchanged or granted in the trust, being something that derives itself from the public. You know what I mean? How does that make sense? Tell me about that. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's just take a moment and think about that for a second. And what is the substance of that transaction? Your first transaction, your funding of the trust, the granting of the initial, the initial trust, the initial, corpus of the trust. How does it look when that so-called asset is from the public? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, like, I don't really be getting into this all this, I'm gonna capture the straw and put it in a private trust, and now, look, I feel like people who talking like that don't really understand the jurisdiction and the distinctions between public and private. And people be like, oh, public and private, it sounds like, whatever. But look, man, we talking about entities, man. It's commerce, right? It's monopoly. We talking about that. There's the shoe. You got the shoe. You got the wheelbarrow. You got the top hat. What else you got? There's a dog on there. You know what I mean? We talking about the entities. Is it public or is it private? Is it governed by public law or private law? Are you executing a private right or exercising a private right or a private contractual obligation? Or are you attempting to exercise a public benefit? To me, very simple. To me, it's very simple. So yeah, let's think about that. Let's think about that for a second. I'm gonna try to connect it with what you call it. So I'm gonna tell you this off top, and those of you in the private, especially all in my in the trustee training for the foundation, you know that we don't fund our trust in the private with Federal Reserve notes. We don't fund our trust in the private with anything that has a value that is derived What's going on with the mic? There it is, right? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm back on the team. We don't fund our with any so-called asset that derives its value from any fiat currency. Let's get specific. Why would you fund your private contractual trust with anything that derives its value from any fiat currency? I'm not talking just about Federal Reserve notes or what we know as dollars. Did you know you can fund a trust with two pieces of silver? That can be the initial corpus of the trust. It has intrinsic value. You can fund a trust with a painting. It has intrinsic value. The grantor grants that into the trust. That's the initial corpus. Now, other assets can be exchanged into the trust. The trustees determine whether it's corpus or income. But the initial granting of the corpus, if you're private, as we lay the foundation, I like to step on toes. It could be a very nice suit with the vest. Anything that has value is what I'm saying. Now, you want to get creative. Some of you, most of you, will never hit me up and say, yo, Sot, I'd like to get into trustee training. Matter of fact, I'm glad that reminds me. I have to decide when, but I'm going to be closing new additions to trustee training coming up here pretty soon because I want to give those who are in the training a chance to get enough of my time, but it's looking like I'm not going to be able to continue to do trustee training privately for much longer. So I will be, no longer accepting trustees. I have to decide when. But I want to give people enough time because I know how it is, and I know how funds are, and I know how important this is to some of y'all. To most of y'all, I know how important it is. But I can't be everything all the time. And I don't feel like I'm everything all the time, but at the same time, like I got other things that are happening. And like I said, I do this so I can do business with my people, and I've been doing business with my people, and I'm doing more business with my people. There's several trustees in the private that I'm very excited to work with in the private. Former trust, business trust. Let's do this. From real estate to even crypto. Like, it doesn't matter. So even last week, like, I couldn't do the show last week. It's just unfortunately I'm getting busy. So this is the announcement. I'm not going to say a date yet because I'll figure out the date by next show. But I do have to say, like, I'm it's going to be very soon where I'm no longer going to be able to accept new trustees. So I'm putting y'all on notice. A gentleman always gives notice. This is the notice. Moving forward, some of y'all will never hit me up and be like, yo, I'm looking to get in trustee training. Let's do this. So for those of you who, and for those of you who are listening to this in some sort of archive and you can't get a hold of me, and you're like, man, what happened to Sot? Like, I listened to a bunch of his shows. I really liked the way he put it down. I was really excited to, get my knowledge up and, interface with this brother. For those of y'all who are listening, to MP3, and I'm no longer in the public or whatever, I want to tell you, do not fund your trust. Do not grant your trust with anything that derives its value from any fiat currency that's denominated in fiat currency. That's stocks, that's bonds. A lot of people say the birth certificate's worth $100 million. $100 million is Federal Reserve notes. That's a fiat currency. Now, I'm not saying nothing about the SPC process. That's public. That's on the public side. I'm talking about the private side. I would not recommend it. I would not recommend it at all. And like I said, things you can do. I like gold. I like silver. It's nothing. The silver is like less than $15 an ounce plus spot price. So you're looking at like $17, give or take a few half dollars or something. Give or take $1. $17. You're looking at about $17 for an ounce of silver. $34 for 2 ounces. You can start a trust with 1 ounce. In order for it to be recognized as a trust, it has to have a corpus. It has to have a purpose and a little jewel. It has to have a date where the trust basically dissolves. I can't think of a better word, because dissolve is a little more corporate, and I don't really like that word for talking private. Now, that's not to say that, hey, the trustees can't decide to extend the life of the trust for another set time of years. But there's a rule against perpetuities when it comes to proper trusts. And perpetual life is only granted by statutory authority to corporations. Even we as humans don't have perpetual life. It's a fraud. It's an illusion. Perpetual life is an illusion, and it can only be granted to illusionary entities. Make sense? So you want to have a date listed in the trust indenture that specifies the dissolution or the canceling of the trust. You want to study arm's length distance, and you want to study self-dealing. But the art of funding a trust is really such that it's an art. You can fund a trust with a beneficiary certificate from another trust, from a business trust, so to speak. and say this beneficiary certificate is worth such and such amount over 10 years. Like, well, where did you derive that amount from? Well, the beneficiary certificates represents beneficial interest in such and such trust. Such and such trust is in the business of such and such. And through profit and loss projections and financial projections according to the business plan and its current business transactions over the course of 5 or 10 years, the business stands to make this much money. Due to this certificate and an equal distributable portion of specific income that is projected to make year over year, the pro rata share to be distributed to this trust because of this certificate equals the amount that we specified. If you have the correct paperwork, that is going to fly. If you have the correct substantiation, that will absolutely fly. Absolutely. 100%. You gotta know what you're doing, though. You have to have studied. You gotta know what you're doing. Man, what's up with this connection? I haven't got any texts, so I'm expecting it's all good. So, get creative with the funding, especially, the initial funding. It's creation, it's birth, You want to get creative with that. You want to be distinct and understand the demarcation line between public and private entities. Does it owe its existence to legislation or some sort of act of legislation, some sort of statutory code that's in the statutes of whatever particular state? Or does it owe its existence to the exercise of the right of contract, the right of common law, the common law right to contract, not a common law trust, common law right to contract, is the contract make the law and govern the instrument? Govern the entity? Yeah, instrument, sure. Or is there governance by statute? It depends, Hey, even if you have a contractual trust, you have the right trust, you have the right entity. You can administer it improperly. Investments, there are specific investments. Hold on. I'm going to stay on funding for a second. Now, once you get past the initial funding, you obtain or cause to be issued an EIN to the trust. Sure, you can get a trust account at a bank and hold Federal Reserve notes. That's not, sure, it's a minimum contact. But you can show substantiation that, hey, the trust, this is the business and the purpose and overall thrust of the trust. And according to the indenture, this is one of the activities authorized by the indenture This is an authorized activity to create income for the benefit of the beneficiaries. They're going to look to the corpus of the trust. They're going to, they may look to the indenture itself and see what, what actually was granted in the trust initially. And the more, ducks you have in a row, the more substantiation that you've done, the better situation is going to transpire. You see, we got to stop thinking so public. We got to, question who taught us that, these Federal Reserve notes were valuable? Well, my parents. Ultimately, okay, who taught them? Well, their parents. Okay, who taught them? Well, their parents. Okay, who taught them? Okay, well, the government. All right, so how does this benefit the government for you to think and believe that this is actual value? And the ultimate valuable form of wealth is actual, notes. Who taught you that, and who stands to gain? I can put it simply that you're taught by the public to save, save, save. There's all types of savings accounts with certain percentages. There's certificates of deposit. There's Roth IRAs. There's all types of stuff for you to save your Federal Reserve notes. But with deflationary policy that all central banks participate in, it is guaranteed that within a span of 10 years, 15 years, it's going to cost you 20, 30% more of those notes to get the same goods and services. So if you save, 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 you're going to save yourself into poverty. How can you pass on wealth when the units of wealth that you are holding are steadily depreciating? How does that make sense? Why would we start, create, craft a trust privately and grant the initial corpus public commercial paper, debt notes? How does that make sense? Come on, yo. How does that make sense? We got to ask questions. On the public, you follow directions. Read this, do this. Public, you read this, do this. You go ask somebody for permission. They tell you yes, they tell you no. If they tell you no, you bicker, you're going to complain, you're going to do a Facebook post about how whatever. You might call up your homeboy, your homegirl, and ruin their mood. But the energy is going to be directed to where it's supposed to go, or where, it actually should go, because we're trained. In the private, we need to think. We need to ask questions. We need to ascertain specific information so that we can make the best decision. And we need to be able to think extrapolated, like extrapolated thinking, which means over time. Like, think from not just today, but tomorrow, next week, and extrapolate all the way into 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. Wealthy people have a 2-month, 6-month, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, 15, and 25 year plans. Families plan in half centuries. Or, if they're just starting out, usually they families plan in generations. Individuals should, wealthy individuals plan, have multiple plans for multiple segments of time in the future and are steadily working toward the execution of those plans. So, when it comes to, the art of funding trust, get creative. The private is heavily occupied by those with creative minds. Inquisitive, inquiring, and creative minds. Those that, typically say, how can I, instead of I can't. I can't, close it off. It's going to close your mind off. I can't, so you stop thinking of solutions. I can't do it. I can't breathe. I can't. But if you say, how can I? How can I? How can I do it? It's an abundant. It's on the abundant side. It's on the other side of thinking. We live in a 3-dimensional dualistic reality. Y'all can hear me? Man, I swear. Saboteurs. They're saboteurs. Saboteurs are aplenty these days. Excuse me. So yeah, use your my grandma used to say, use your noodle, boy. Use your noodle, boy. It's important for us to be able to think on our feet. It's important for us to, anticipate things that could come in the future, so we don't get caught off guard. And worst case scenario, we can deal with it, but we have, already thought out ways to deal with these things. So get creative when it comes to funding. It's an art form. As far as investments, there are specific investments that only public charities, private foundations, and trusts are able to get into. When you are private, when you go private, matter of fact, how about this? Let's do some homework. I ain't never assigned no homework to nobody on no show. But if you're so inclined, if your mind is inquisitive and you're like, man, I wonder what is he talking about? Do this. Tomorrow, even right now, I want you to, jump online, the nearest hospital, college, or university to you, the nearest one. I want you to either call them or do a search online. You got to find the donor department. You follow what I'm saying? The donor department. Hospital, university, or college. Hit them up. You can call them on the general line or something, whatever. Say, hey, I'd like to speak to someone in the donor department. So you want to get on the line with the donor department. When you get on, hey, hi, this is, Steve McNeil. I'm here with, the University of Montana donor department. How can I help you? I want you to say this word for word. Hi, my name is, say your name. I am the trustee of, say a trust. You can say, if your name is Tasha Johnson, say my name is Tasha Johnson, and I am the trustee of the Johnson Family Trust. I'm calling to inquire and get some information regarding your endowments or any of your endowment programs. And then just shut up, because they're going to start rifling off information. They may ask you a few questions. What would you like the money to be used for? Oh, I would just like to be open for a scholarship for those who are of low income. Because with endowments, you can't specify, I want it to only go to so-called black people. I want it to only go to China. You can't do that. You can't, that's because it's a public entity, and they cannot, what is it called? They cannot, what's the word I'm looking for? Discriminate, that's the word. They cannot discriminate based on race, color, sex, so on and so forth, religion. I only want this endowment to be used for, Catholics or Moors or so. You can't do that because it's public. You understand? You understand the demarcation between public and private. But if you're just like, I just want, for those, who are low income, I want, we can let it be grants and stuff, and they're gonna start telling you some stuff that you ain't never heard before. And ask questions. If you don't have any questions, if you're kind of stumped, just say, is there anything else you'd like to tell me that I should know before I bring this back to the board and we make a decision on it? And there probably will be. And, take some notes and stuff. And then, pick your jaw up off the floor and realize that this stuff has been going on for hundreds of years. You just didn't know about it. And the endowment is perpetual. It's for life. So after you pass, it's still going to the trust. Multiple generations of trustees, they're going to be taught by their successor trustees that, hey, There's specific income that comes in once every quarter, once every, 6 months, once a year. That is, part of trust income. You can make it part of the corpus. You can do this. We traditionally do this with this, but, as trustees, y'all can determine what you want to do with it. Just make sure that you handle our estate. It will be there for generations. This is how the wealthy get wealthier. It's one way how the wealthier get wealthier. This information will change your life. I'm telling you. It's just up to you and up to your personal circumstances, personal situation, how long it's going to take to change your life. Are you going to do the requisite study? Are you going to do the requisite leg work? Are you, in a certain, income threshold? If you make a little less, it's going to take a little more time. But if you start getting your hands into these private ways of accumulating and growing your wealth as soon as possible, in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you will have a different level lifestyle. You will have a better quality of life. I guarantee it. I'm living proof. But check it out. We got about 60 seconds left in the live broadcast. If you're listening online, you want to call in 424-222-5250. Otherwise, in about 45 seconds, you will be disconnected and you will have to check out the archive of this episode to, catch the rest of it. I will be streaming. Got the show off. Started about a half hour late. I was running late, y'all. I apologize. And since I didn't make the last show, I bet you there's a bunch of people who just think that the foundation is popping. The foundation is still popping. But yeah, if you're listening online, you want to call in. But yeah, there are things, and I'm gonna tell you, like, there's one aspect of there's one behavior that we're supposed to partake in once we go to the private. There's 3, that I was put on the game. Well, 4. There's 4 I was put on the game, but there was one out of the 4 that I wasn't really feeling, and I didn't do it right away, and I regret it because I didn't understand it. And I understand there's a lot of people who do not make a move. You're frozen because you're dealing with fear and you're dealing with lack of knowledge and lack of information. And you're not making a move. I get it, I understand. Hey, it's part of life. But that, I'll tell you my personal experience when I was frozen because I didn't understand what my man was telling me. Even though I trusted him, I didn't really understand what he was saying. And I felt like, I'm getting bread. I got investments, I got intellectual property. I get, royalty checks and so on and so forth. Like, I'm not really tripping, man. You're saying, you're kind of doing extra. It wasn't extra, man. It was my ego. It was my fear. It was my stupidity, my lack of trust, my whatever it was. I regret it. Now, I did get in and start behaving. It's because it's a behavior. Transacting in the way that my mentor told me to do. And now that I've been doing it for a couple of years, I realized that if I would have been doing it for a couple more years, it would be double the lucrative. It would be doubly lucrative. When you go private, when you get this information, when you understand the distinction between public and private, when you get your hands on the proper education materials, when you get your hands on the proper indentures, you get your hands on the proper, mentor. And you start making moves, opening accounts, bank, trust accounts, checking accounts, brokerage accounts if you want to, start titling vehicles and properties and so on and so forth into the names of trusts and stuff like that, and you start behaving and demonstrating your new knowledge, you begin to accumulate wealth. Like, seriously. Now, at what rate you will be accumulating this wealth is up to you. It's a personal thing. Like I said, there's things I regret. I would be at a different rate right now if I didn't do what I was told to do. I had the feeling it felt right, and I felt like, hey man, I'm following what you're saying. I'm not, I'm listening. I had like 4 mentors, man. I spent like over 30 G's in like 5 or 6 months with all these mentors, man. Flying everywhere, flying all over the place. And I felt like I was, I got a problem with authority. I felt like I was listening. I was doing a bunch of stuff that I was told to do. And in that one instance, I'm going to do what I tell myself to do, and I burned for it. I lost out on wealth, man. My estate lost out on wealth, man. And I know that, like I said, there's some of you like, man, I know I got to go private, and I know blah, blah, blah. But you haven't invested in your private education, whether it's hitting up the foundation and doing the trustee training with the foundation or whatever medium you choose or determine to get this private knowledge from the informed. Either you're born in an informed family or you're born in an uninformed family. That's it. Either you get lucky. If you're born in an uninformed family, you can come across those who have the informed information or knowledge, or you stay in the public and you deal with what we call controlled knowledge. I don't care what you got behind your name, player. That's public, man. That's what they want you to know. You get to the point where you start thinking in scarcity. And you start thinking in abundance. You're like, oh man, there is enough for everybody. There's more than enough for everybody. There's enough money. There's, I can get my piece of the pie. Matter of fact, I can give the whole pie. And if I can't get the whole pie myself, I'll get half the pie and teach my successors how to get the rest. You start behaving differently when you go private, y'all. I'm serious. It's a sacrifice, though. You got to grind how most won't, so you can live how most can't. Hands down. And it's not, oh, you work hard and you'll be successful. Nah, man, you work hard and you work smart, you will be successful. That's the qualification. Which epitomizes you have to grind how most won't. Man, most everybody I know gets up and goes to work 9 to 5. But they if they do have a garage, if they do have extra space, they ain't working on their own thing. 95% of the people that I know and come into contact with, they work for someone else's company. That's doing what most do. That's grinding how most grind. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You making, you supporting your family, you handling your business, you feeding yourself, you're clothing yourself, you handling your business. But grinding how most grind is not going to enable you to live how most can't. There's things that I can do that most cannot do. Perfect example. A few months ago, through the trust, I went and purchased a vehicle. And it was more than $10,000. And I through the board of trustees, gave me discretion. Peep what I'm saying. And in executing the resolution of the board of trustees, I determined, which was well within my delegation of authority from the board of trustees, that instead of paying for the whole thing up front, like I said, it was over 10 G's. The trust would just put $10,000 down and finance the rest and build the business trust credit profile with that transaction. Most people cannot walk into a dealership and put more than $500 down. And I'm not stunting on y'all because it wasn't my money. I don't have any money. I haven't made money in years. But that's living how most can. Executing the contract how most cannot. Because I grind how most would not. Like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm going to go home and have a beer. I'm going to watch the game. And I worked hard today for another man's company, for another woman's company. I worked hard today. Okay, man. I'm not going to argue with you. But that's not how you get it. So, hey, if you're up to it, get in contact with a hospital, university, college donor department and inquire to their endowment programs. And prepare to be amazed and flabbergasted. Like, man, I never knew about stuff like this. Yep, didn't know about it. It's because we come from uninformed families. I had to go, look, I was introduced to this stuff in the south of France, in the city of Cannes, where they do the music festival and where they do the film festival. The Cannes Film Festival. It's in the south of France. It's on the Mediterranean. They got palm trees. Right up the coast is Nice, and then further up the coast is Monaco. And it's some of the coldest lifestyle I've ever been a part of. It really spoiled me. I'm a different dude. I was different ever since I went over there and was over there for a while. I've always been different. Always been different. It changed me. It elevated my palate. It changed my tastes and what I will and will not tolerate and what I wanted and did not want. I was in the south of France before I heard anything relevant to me and what I'm doing with regards to trust. Most people don't be chopping up with people on large boats in the south of France. So, and I was grinding. I brought a brand international. I really did. I'm no joke. And I don't have nothing to prove to y'all. So I don't be out here telling all the business. Yusuf blew me out. You know what I'm saying? He straight up blew my cover. But, I'm more of a private person. And, that's a brand. And it was successful. And with that success, I saw what I wanted and didn't want. And I want to do business with my people. I really, really, really do. It's fun. It's fun sitting on a beach, cracking up. And I look to my side or look to my left, and, people sitting next to me look like me, have, probably come up in a situation very similar to mine. We have similar goals, aspirations. We have a similar heritage. We have similar spiritual beliefs. We have similar shortcomings. We have similar experiences, whether it's, experiencing racism or poverty or something like that. Like, that's how I like to chill. I'm more comfortable around my people. I'm not comfortable, around, people who don't necessarily look like me. I could do it. I could do it with the best of them. But after a while, it gets old. It gets real old, and I just want to chill with my peoples and have them talk shit about somebody. You know what I mean? Or get cussed out, or, I don't know, man. But we've been miseducated. And, the foundation is, charitable educational endeavor. And that's what I'm looking to do. But, time is limited. So with that being said, man, that's it. That's, the art of funding, trusts and investments. On the trust side, man, hey, trustee training, hey, you want to do some stocks and bonds and stuff? I'm not saying don't do it. Do it in the trust. Straight up. A trust can go to, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, all these, brokerage firms and open an account in the trust name. So if you make some money, it's trust income. It can be expensed, it can be distributed, so on and so forth. It's not having to be, reported to the individual. The individual is the worst entity you can use to generate income in the public or to title property in the public, real or personal. I don't care. The worst, the lowest entity, the worst. And they throw everybody in it. It's like, yeah, we're gonna race, and I throw you in a Honda Civic, and you look over, and I'm sitting in the Bugatti V12 twin turbo, talking about we gonna race. It's a $2,000 buy-in. You won't give me your $2,000, but if you don't, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna throw you because you ain't paying your taxes. You feel what I'm saying? It is a race. It's the rat race. Let's get out this rat race. We can do it. I did it. We can do it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, man. I met so many people that had money that were stupid. They were absolutely dumb. Absolutely, for real. Fam. Man. So don't think it can't be you. Don't think you can't change your life. Don't think your life can't change in as little as 12 to 24 months. Seriously. I've been flying so much. I got free flights. I got two different accounts that have free round trip tickets on it, and that's just that's business, man. Do what you want to do. Do what you love, man. But you got to go get it. You got to picture it in your mind. You gotta feel the feeling of what it would be like to be there, and then you gotta go get it, and then keep that in your mind. You gotta go get it, and you will be tested. And don't give up. Don't punk out. You gonna punk out? Then it's not for you. We're trying to be inspirational, y'all. I'm gonna go to the phone lines in a few, couple minutes, man. 424. Never mind. We're streaming. So if y'all in the switchboard, you got a question, you got a comment, you want to cuss me out, you want to call me out, whatever, man. I'm open for it. Hey, just push 1 on your keypad. I'm going to do a couple calls. I'm going to end the show because I started a half hour late. And I know, some of y'all got to work in the morning. I'm trying to go to my guy's studio tonight. So Big things. Phone lines is open. 717-9185. First caller. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Peace. So it's Joseph. Just wanted to kind of get your opinion, or not opinion, but some information about purchasing things from an arm's length with the trust. So if if my trust perhaps doesn't have a bank account yet, but I do want to start making some purchases with the trust, can I do that from a personal account and still be at arm's length?
The only way you can do that is if you have terms in the trust indenture that any expenses that the trustees pay for will be reimbursed by the trust.
Okay.
So if you pay for it with your money, you better fill out a little reimbursement form, and then attach the receipt, and put that in the trust documentation, and then cut yourself a check from the trust account whenever the trust gets the funds.
Okay.
And honestly, if the trust doesn't have the funds, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Okay.
You could, hey man, I'm gonna drop a jewel for y'all. You could purchase it privately. You could purchase it publicly, like through your individual personally, and you could exchange it into the trust. And in that exchange will not represent any monetary value, so it will, ideally, non-legal advice, ideally it would be a non-taxable transaction.
Okay.
And if you want to go in deeper, you're a trustee, man, just call me, because that's as deep as I'm going to go on the show. In the public. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I'll reach out to you then.
Okay. Any other questions, brother?
No. I think that's it.
Okay, cool. I appreciate you, man. And then, I look forward to you hit me up. If you need some more about that, we'll go into it.
Okay, for sure.
All right. Peace. Hopefully, man, I hope I didn't blow your spot up, man. And just, hope maybe you didn't want people to know you was a trustee. But, hey, I'm paying it forward. You used to blew my spot up. No, I'm just playing. 915-0068. 915-0068. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, sir. This is D. What's going on, so?
Hey, peace, family. How you doing?
All right, man. I just wanted you to know, man, your show is very inspirational to me, man. So, I found you a while back. Then, you heard about you, and then it's like both of y'all just connect perfectly. But I'm coming in, trying to fan you down, like, hey, don't close the doors to the trust class yet. I've been meaning to become a member of that. Couldn't do it just this past week. Something came up, but I'm trying to get to the doors this next go around. Hopefully, July 1. So, yeah, don't close the doors too soon, brother.
Yeah. I mean, so I'll take that. Definitely take that in consideration. Thinking about that, I don't want to, prematurely. I can say, how about this? I can tell you right now. Yeah, my word that I won't stop before July 1st.
Oh, okay.
So
that's like a touchdown for me, but it just makes sense. You're only one person. If you're good at what you do, what's going to stop people from trying to still contact you? And then it's like, okay, when's enough? So it just makes sense. And to me, that's like the one missing link that I have, understanding the full operation on the private side, because everything sounds good when you put it ones and twos together, but until you know the details, the ins and outs, and what not to do, that's when I think that's when you should make a move. Other than that, I don't make a move.
Yeah, but I want to, there's something to be said about on-the-job training or learning from experience, and when it comes from operating from the private. As long as you understand and you have the knowledge that you are executing a contract. You're executing a contract. And that's where you derive your authority from. So I'm not in the bank doing anything illegal trying to open a trust with this 98 number. And my obligation is to open a trust account, a trust checking account, for this trust, using this 98 number or whatever number I got that from the Internal Revenue Service, and hey, as long as I'm not doing nothing wrong, but I don't know how, at least you'd be more apt to make an attempt versus like, oh man, it's private and I can get in trouble. Like you can get in trouble if you're trying to really juke. You're trying to throw some jukes out there. If you're just trying to handle your business and so on and so forth, man, like don't this stuff just because we ain't heard of it before doesn't mean it has not been happening for hundreds of years. I was talking to this mortgage broker and I was like, hey man, you ever get trusts come past your desk for underwriting for real estate? He was like, yeah, all the time. If I would have never asked him that question, I would have never got the answer. He basically the way he said it to me, he was like, I mean, it's obvious. Yeah, all the time. What do you mean?
Wow.
But I wouldn't have known that. I'd be like, oh yeah, well now that I know to ask that question, it makes sense. But all the time, the trust applications go across their desk more than we get credit card applications in the mail. It's very prevalent.
Man, that's
we just don't know
in itself.
Yeah, we just don't know. Yeah, run it, man. Yeah. Look, man, I'm telling you, life insurance policies are huge when it comes to showing an asset, a tangible.
When you mentioned that yourself not too long ago, that rung a bell so deep. Man, I was just like, man, that just makes too much sense.
I've been trying to tell Yusuf, Yusuf is, Yusuf ain't used to listening to nobody. You know what I'm saying? So, and Yusuf was like, hey, I respect you, so, and that meant a lot to me, but I've been trying to get this, like, Yusuf, man, life insurance. He's like, I know. And I'm like, fam, it's not in the way that you think. And he finally told me, he was like, you got to fly down here. I actually got to fly down there probably sometime this month. He's like, we need to stay here, and you need to tell me about this stuff. So now he's open.
I look forward to that week's show, too. I'll pay attention to that.
But yeah, life insurance is a big part of showing, assets in a trust name, going through underwriting for properties and loans and stuff like that. Life insurance is huge.
Because I actually have a life insurance, but I understand there's got to be a certain functionality of the life insurance that, makes it credible in your state, like what you're talking about. But that's something else I learn about too once I, start the trust class, get some details. But I'm not sure if I had the right one. Well, more than likely, I know it's something I could probably do something with in the near future or cancel it if it needs to.
I mean, it depends on how, you want to check. I got a guy, man, like, he does amazing things. Sometimes you can get it modified. Sometimes you can get them like restructured or transferred over into a different type of policy, but you maintain the value that has gone into it. You hardly ever want to cancel a life insurance policy unless you have to. But even then, a lot of times there's options to get a portion of the premiums back, and most people don't know that.
Oh wow, okay.
So yeah, I would hold on to it if you got one. Main thing is if you can change the owner and beneficiary. That's the main thing. Sometimes you can change the beneficiary, but you can't change the owner. Especially if it's a personal expense, because you want to be able to do that, because if the owner is a trust, now the trust pays the premiums, and that's an expense to the trust. You know what I mean? 100% expense versus on the individual side, you maybe only be able to, expense certain amounts of premiums paid, but not the whole entire thing and stuff.
That'd be a good question for me to ask.
Yeah, asking, hey, can I change the beneficiary and the owner? That's where I would start. Hey, what's the process of changing the beneficiary or the owner on this life insurance policy? And then just be quiet.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Unless they ask you, what's the policy?
I'm so real curious, like
yeah, be quiet. And that's another thing, y'all. Like when you're talking to people, whether you're negotiating or whatever, man, there's certain circumstances. Especially in negotiations, and especially if you're doing something that you're not really familiar with, the best thing most of the time is just to be quiet. Say what you got to say and be quiet. Don't add anything extra. A lot of times we want to fill the silence and stuff. Don't fill the silence. Just be quiet and let them do their job and let them think and stuff like that. But yeah, man, yeah. Can I change the owner beneficiary and then just be quiet? Just wait for them to answer.
Yeah. Have them stumble their words and figure it out.
Yep, absolutely.
Go from there. Well, brother, hey, I ain't gonna hold up the line, and I appreciate your knowledge, your power, your truth that you put out through the airwaves. And man, I'm gonna stay tuned and get in touch with you. So you'll be seeing or hearing from me again at least.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for pressing one.
Sir.
Thanks for checking out the show.
You take it easy, man.
Peace. All appreciation, praise is due to the ancestors and the creators. I feel like I'm a hollow reed, and it's coming through me, man. No, I'm just, hey, like straight up, not being humble. I'm telling the truth, because what I'm dealing with right now, I want to give proper accolades to, so it does not end, because I am enjoying life and I love it. So all praise is due to the ancestors, due to the creator, man. Without them, who knows? Who knows? 925-4026. Peace.
Peace, man.
Brian from the Bay, man. What's good, man? How you doing?
See, I see how you doing this, man. You dipping on it. I don't appreciate that, homie.
I got them Cali brothers out here. He's like, you dealing with a Cali brother when they start calling you homie. You're like, no.
Bro, you dipping? Nah, bro. I already know. You don't need to go into detail, bro. I already know what you're trying to. I don't know what you're trying to do, but I understand your purpose. For you got to do what you got to do, and the thing is, people need to step up or just be left in the cold. The only person they can blame is themselves, because where there's a will, there's a way, and they always the when you seek it, it should come to you. If you want it, you can find a way to get what you need to get. Because you see people getting stuff that, it's funny when I think about it. You go in people's houses and stuff, and they be like, hey, I ain't got nothing, but they got like TVs and TVs and Jordans and stuff, and I'm like, but you got something. So it's just all about putting the stop doing what other people are doing, start doing what you need to do for yourself. So that's the way I look at it. And one thing I would say is I appreciate, I haven't been listening to this for as long as you've been on, but the funny thing was, like, I put it this way: I start listening to Yusuf, and then I saw your your stuff, and I was like, Foundation, and I just listened to it, and then the first time I listened to it, I just called, and then when I called in, I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to pay for it to figure out. I was like, let me just book a point. I mean, what you call it? I can't think of the term. A meeting with
consultation.
You know, consultation. Yeah, my bad. The brain went off right there. But yeah, I just took a risk, and you know, and I realized that when you start really paying attention to stuff, you got order to receive something, you gotta be willing to, you know, give something. So you gotta give your energy or give your, you know, your determination to do it. Because like you said, people get shook and get scared, and I know there's been plenty of times where I was like, man, I don't know, because you know, for me, it was always the biggest thing was always like tripping off of my my ability not to read as quick as everybody and to write as everybody. So that was like my biggest crutch. So I was like, I can't let it hold me back. So I just appreciate that you was able to be on here and, you know, help people get to a point where they can actually start making stuff. Because, like I said, I need to do more. Like most people, we got to do more on your own and make sure you do it. But I do really appreciate it, you know, from the bottom of my heart that you said do this, because you didn't have to. You could have just turned this off a long time ago and just been living your life, living your best life. But you just did something in your soul, and that usually happens with people. Because that's what I feel. I feel like I want to just make it. I just want to make it easy for other people, not in the sense of you ain't got to work to make what you need to do, but you just make it like so you can do that, because you got to put in the work, but you ain't no longer worrying about all this noise, this static, all this distraction out here. And I feel like that's what you guys are trying to do. Y'all just want to make it so, like you said, you could be on the beach chopping it up and getting drunk and cussing each other out without some knowledge or something. And everybody's like, what are they talking about? They don't know what y'all talking about because y'all on the higher plane with the knowledge, but y'all still being real with yourself. Because I know it's got to be, you know, that's got to be a cool situation to be able to chop it up with people that know what you're talking about. Because I know it's probably like, you talking to people and they looking like you crazy. So, you know, I appreciate it. And, I mean, that's all I got to say is I appreciate it. And keep doing what you're doing. And I'll try to support you as much as I can. And keep doing your dance like you like to say.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I really do, man. Yeah. Just, you know, a lot of people say you got to take a leap of faith. I think personally it's all about believing in yourself and believing that you can do it and believing it and trusting in your judgment and trusting that you can make a good decision with regards to who you deal with in the future. You can just sit down and be like, look, I'm not going to be dealing with no funny, weird, felonious, tomfoolery brothers and sisters no more. I'm about to get my mind right, my information right, my estate right, and I do not consent to any tomfoolery from now on. And keep that in your mind and move forward and trust that you ain't, you know, that you're serious. I really think it boils down to people don't trust themselves, man. We just don't trust ourselves. We've been taught not to trust ourselves, to trust our opinions, to trust our business acumen, to trust our intellect, to, you know, to trust each other. And I think it really, you know, it boils down to, you know, hey, do you believe that you're not only worthy, but you can do it, and that you have the right judgment to determine the correct path? You know? But
Yeah,
I could be completely wrong. I could be, you know, I could be off my rocker like, man, you tripping, so I don't know. Hey.
No, I think you're right about that. But I'll leave it as this: is that you know you got to trust yourself, because when you look at it, even how they use, you know, with any religion, it makes you So you have to listen to this figure without questioning the information that you get. Because a lot of people don't even realize the only reason why a lot of us are even able to even understand the Bible is because Martin Luther. And for people who don't know that, that's the name that Martin Luther King got from. It was a gentleman named Martin Luther that made it possible for people. I mean, he made it possible. He argued with the church to like let the people actually start reading it, because the church didn't want people to start reading the Bible and stuff. And that's what
he's
Martin
the one that started the Lutheran sect of Christianity.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about.
So I know about the same, but that's the whole. But that's the thing, is that people don't realize, like they want to keep people. I forget who said it. It was best. I think it was I think it was either. You correct me if I'm wrong. It's either one of the Rockefellers or it's one of the can't think of which one. But it's one of them families. They said, I want a group of people that are workers, not thinkers.
That was Rockefeller.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was them. All right. So that's my point. Is once you thinking, not thinking. Once you just be sitting there, ain't doing nothing, doing what they want you to do. So you got to realize that there's a reason why this stuff is in the public. The private. It makes you have to trust your judgment, and then you got to be on your due dance to do that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I have to say. And I know my mother and me, we appreciate it, and my family, because it's making me, do what I got to do, and start trusting, what I've been doing, trust my judgment, not always second guess myself, and just, get the information from people and just do your due diligence and study it. But I don't want to be not wasting, but taking all the time, because I know you got other calls, and they probably like, man, let me talk. Taking the ball to there.
Nah, man, I appreciate it, man. Peace to Mom's Bay. Mom's Bay. tell your mom I said peace. Tell peace to your family, man. Peace to you, man. You've been rocking for a while, and man, I consider you one of the success stories of the trustees. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm surprised you feel that way, and I appreciate it. I really do. But
I know what you did in that court. I know what you did in that courtroom,
man. And
I know what you did in that courtroom.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. I'm gonna just tell you this real quick. I don't even care if anybody hears it. So, I already had that thing with being sued before, right? So I just didn't. I forgot. I was gonna call you in the the private, but I didn't get a chance to. I got sued again. So I'll put it this way. I didn't have to go there because I hit them with a different letter, right? And I was waiting for them to send me the letter to say that they served me. I never got it, and I was waiting. I said, well, they're supposed to send me this letter to see, so I could finally respond, and do the paperwork, go to actually the court and actually do that process. Because I said I'm gonna wait until I get that damn letter that says they served me, right? They never send it. And then when I looked on my history,
don't wait, man.
No, but my point is, I sent them a letter. Huh?
Finish that administrative process.
Yeah.
Get that certificate of non-response from the notary, so if they ever do come at you, you get the default off top.
Okay, I'm gonna do that then. But what I noticed is they didn't respond to that letter, right? And then what happened is it fell off my history. Silence is acquiescence. Yeah. So they took it off my quote unquote credit history. It just disappeared. So they just
because you got the new letter. Yeah, because we steadily perfecting the process in the private.
But the letter was like pretty much saying, hey, I ain't gonna go. I'll put it this way. It just asked them, who are you? I used the law.
They want the affidavit. Yeah. We asked them to sign on the penalty of they ain't touching none of that.
And
they won't touch that.
They didn't respond. And then you go get it notarized. Look, you go get it notarized, and then that's it. And I was waiting for
it's an affidavit. Well, it's notarized. It's an affidavit form. So they gotta come back. They ain't finna come back. They were like, man, leave this one alone.
Hey, it was just funny too because I was looking like, why it just dropped off. I was like, I didn't have to go to court with this one. It just dropped off.
Yeah. So like I said, man, yeah, man, you wanted to. Yeah, you wanted the grinders.
Hey, you know how I felt about it. And you was like, man, but you was like, I remember you just said after it happened, he's like, but you had to know that it was gonna go through. I can't force you to see it because if I say it, you have to believe it.
Yeah,
and
you were the one in the courtroom. You were the one that had to go in there. I couldn't go. I told you I couldn't go in there with you.
Yeah,
you had to go in there by yourself. Yeah.
But it was so funny, man. I'm just telling you. I just really I only tripped over it. I was like, oh, okay. I had one happen to me, hit him with that letter, and then they were like, I was waiting for them to respond. They didn't even respond, bro. What the hell happened there?
Nah, they ain't gonna respond.
But I gotta do my due diligence to learn more of this stuff because I still gotta, be on the process of getting everything correct. But like I said, you just gotta put in the work.
Yeah, I think that letter you talk about. I think I'm about to put that on the site for like $10 or something. something small. Like, yo, here you go, $10. Just grab it and send it off.
Hey man, you know what? I'm gonna show you. I kind of want you to see the one that because I was hearing somebody else and I listened to what they were talking about, right? And I read what they were talking about because it was using the same what's it called, the 1692.
Same principles.
Yeah, it's based off the consumer law, right? Based off of that, right? So I heard them use this. That it was talking about the actual, which one to use. And I looked at it and I read it and then I crafted it and I use it and that's the one I used, like I said, recently. And it was just crazy. Like I don't get no response because it's and I'm gonna have to send it to you because I think I sent it to somebody else, but it's interesting because I made that one up myself.
Yeah, once you get to the point, principles are few, processes are many. Principles are few, processes are many.
Well, I'm still working on that. I'm not gonna sit back like I'm from Exodus and still gotta work on some stuff.
Man, you a Jedi. You just a humble Jedi. Like these fools in the public, they can't do this. They don't know how. They can't sit down and figure. Man, you a Jedi, fam. You went to court and beat them fools out of thousands. I'm a witness. I saw the bill. I was helping the brother. My man walked into court. They beat them fools. Now he at the point where he ain't got to go to court no more. He beating them out of court. I'm telling you, Jedi, man. Out here with that.
Maybe when it comes to that, but I still got to learn the other stuff. You feel me?
Yeah, I got you.
But hey, man, it was a totally. I was like, it's funny when I got served the last time. The person said, I'm gonna just put it this way. He served me. He said, I'm sorry. I said, oh, you don't have to apologize. You're just doing your job. Like, and he looked at me weird, like.
Yep.
Like most people don't act like this when they get served. So.
Almost
anyway.
get excited. Like, ooh, I get to test my skills. You almost get excited and stuff. That's in the public. That's crazy. Like, what? You excited to get served? What's wrong with you? You crazy? Give him a psyche valve.
But anyway, I'm gonna let you go, man. But yeah, that was funny. Like I was about to say that, but I don't have no problem saying that because, like I said, I just looked at wanted to go look on it, and they just dropped. But I'm gonna probably do what you said because I didn't think about it when they, just to cover my ass.
Yeah, finish out the process, man. Don't let them go. Don't back up. You know what I mean? Take them out.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
If they ever hit you again or something, like, hey, man, I got a certificate of non-response. Y'all already agreed to this. So, what now? And you contacted me again. That's $1,000 per offense.
Yeah, I'm learning about that. I was like, what? Like, man, it's a trip.
$1,000 per offense, plus you can charge them for your time hourly.
Yep, like they do you.
And the court.
I mean, not you per se. I'm saying not you per se, but I mean other folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they ain't doing me like that. They ain't doing you like that.
But yeah, that's it, man. I'm gonna let you
man.
rock with somebody else. I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, man. You good, man.
Peace. Yeah, man, don't forget to tell your mom to say peace, man. She rocked with you, man. She should get, some props, man. She probably was like, what the hell are you doing, son? You gonna get us all in trouble with the man. But, sounds like, obvious that she rocked with you and she, had some faith in the son. She gets the salute. With that being said, man, hey, we got no time left. I'm about to wrap this up, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. I come with the, with the heat. I'm looking to, for those who can hear me, I'm talking to you. And, please believe me. Welcome to thefoundation.com. Get your private learn on. Sign up for the email list. It's going to say, you signed up, but you got to search your email and confirm your email. That's a lie. It's not true. We haven't taken that page. We haven't edited that page yet. Migrated the website a few months ago. I don't even want to touch it because that was so much energy. So just an announcement. If you've listened to the episode this far, man, you sign up for the email list and it says use one step, you're almost done, or whatever it says. That's not true, man. If you put your email on welcometothefoundation.com and you hit that arrow, you're on the email list. So, I appreciate y'all checking out the show. I appreciate the newcomers. Appreciate the OGs. Definitely. I will think about when I will actually put a date on for ending my, new trustees and trustee training. But, it's coming. I can't do this. I'm not anymore, but I feel like, there's other avenues I can affect more change for our people, especially on the low income side, because that's where we are really hurting. And, I'm a catalyst for our people, man. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Welcome to the foundation. And, I'm so ill. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. Enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. That's the theme. I'm gonna call that the theme. Other than that, I'll catch y'all next week unless something comes up. Y'all can email me admin@welcometothefoundation.com if you're interested in trustee training. You can book a consultation from the website. You can do what you dance, man. Do your dance. But y'all be safe. Be safe out there. And I'll catch you next week here on High Frequency Radio. Peace to the gods.
Doing this thing all the way live. High Frequency Radio.